Welcome to Soundproof, where your host Shari Pine takes you backstage, down front, and behind the scenes for a look at some of entertainment's hottest musicians, producers, engineers, and other people out there on the scene today. And now, here's your host, that cool chick on a hot mic, Shari Pine.
Welcome back, everybody, to Soundproof. I am your host, Shari Pine, the cool chick on the hot mic, hot chick on the hot mic. And today's guest needs no introduction, really, except to say that his reputation precedes him. I am so proud to call him friend. We're talking about musicians on this show and other artists, is a guitarist in a band called Joe Bonanno and the Godsons of Soul. They are like really renowned people, right? They have played all over the tri-state area. Most notably, the Stone Pony that Bruce Springsteen made famous. They play all over Atlantic City casinos. They're back and forth to Vegas. I don't know if they've played there, but because the corona just messed them up, but at least they flew there and they were there for the venue. But I don't know if the venue was there for them. But anyway, the impossibly thick-haired Mr. Wild Bill Winters is our guest. Bill, are you there? Your hair is impossibly thick.
I'm here with my hair.
I am so proud to call you friend.
Well, we are friends. And we are one-time performers together.
Bill, you look like a greeting card. It's a greeting card. That's amazing. I love that set.
Yes. It is when you asked me before why there was only one sock, I literally thought, I literally thought that it was my socks. Maybe I forgot to put on one of my socks.
And how could I possibly
see?
Right. It's beautiful. The mantle, the sock. I mean, the
sun's coming through.
The fireplace tools.
We're facing west over here.
Well, for sure, everybody, you're going to hear Wild Bill play because he's got his guitar here. And he played last night and he plays all the time in his own band. He was just at the Great Notch Inn. And I've played with Bill. And I've also played music with Bill in New York City. And he's just a great friend. And I'm so proud that you're here to speak with us. Can we start from the beginning? Your music beginning.
My musical beginning. Well, I was a kid with no talent and no physical skills in terms of athletics and no academic abilities. And my parents are pretty disgusted with me. And my good buddy, this was in 5th grade, he came by the house and he said, the band director at school has asked me to recruit people to be in the band. And they need a trumpet player. Do you want to play trumpet? And I said, no, I don't know anything about music. And so we went for a long walk, and I did say to him, if I was going to play any musical instrument, it would be the guitar. And he said, well, I play trumpet and I play guitar, so I can teach you how to play guitar if you promise to join the band and play trumpet. So that's how it all started. And then I started playing trumpet at home, and my mother thought it was awesome, and she used to brag about me to her friends. So it was sort of a Freudian brainwash that took place where I started immersing myself in all things music because it was the only time I ever got a compliment from my mom.
Oh, well, this could take us on another tangent. Let's talk about your mom.
She's great, and she's still with us, and I still tell her that story.
Hey, Wild Bill's mom, everybody say hey. Hey.
But as soon as the electric guitar came, she was not so supportive. At that point, she said, "You got to stop making noise."
How was your relationship with your mother? I mean, is she a musician
Excellent.
also?
Excellent. No, we really didn't have any musicians in the family on either side. She played a little piano, and we had a piano in the house, but no one really played it until I started playing trumpet. Then I was playing piano. Then I was playing guitar. Then I was
You were a
singing.
one-man band.
Well, it took off. It took off, and it's not like a work ethic or anything like that. It's more of an obsession. Like literally, when I come home from a gig at 3 a.m, I will sometimes play guitar. If it was something bad, I would need mental help, I guess.
This is something that I can attest to about you. I have admired that in you. I know that the gig ends late, and sometimes the haul back home is long and tiresome. But you have a real passion, even outside of, like you were saying, the stage. Like when the show is over and the applause has ended, you're still wrapped up in the music. It's not a show. It's a passion. It runs through your brain, your veins and your brains. I don't think I have met anybody as passionate. I mean, not even me. I'm kind of jealous of you.
Well, I do. I'm being honest here. I love to play, and I'm in. I'll tell you what happened. When we were shut down because of COVID, I started. I guess it was last winter. I started looking at the calendar and saying, we have. I'm only playing once a month or once every 3 weeks, and I'm used to playing about 100 dates a year. So I thought it was bizarre because I'm in several bands, and in addition to Joe Bonanno, I play with other people, and I have
Who are they?
Contacts.
Can you name them? Who else do you play?
It's there's a band called the Coots. There's a band called Rachel Wise and the Guys.
Yes.
There's my band, Wild Bill Mojo Band, and we play. And then I have several contacts and friends, and if anyone needs a bass player or if anyone needs a guitarist at the last minute, they'll often call me. And so I started saying, you know what, I better push these other connections to make sure that I'm playing this summer. This is what I was saying last winter. And it kind of got out of control because everyone started getting dates.
It got wild.
And last year, this year, 2021, I think there's 140 gigs that I had. So it's too much. So one of my resolutions is to cut back. And I play in the, I have a studio at home, if you can call it a studio. It's a DAW and a laptop and a nice microphone and a keyboard. And,
audio. A DAW is a digital audio
workstation.
Okay. And just let me ask you, so DAW, for people who might not be familiar with that, a digital audio workstation. So does it have, what are the specs? It has to be huge. Is this what I have considered a DAW?
No, it's software that you could put on your laptop. I guess you could put it on a cell phone too. I don't know. But it basically takes, if you're ever in a recording studio, and I know you spent a lot of time in there, and you see the console with all the faders, and you see all the outboard gear, the compressors, the equalizers and everything. It takes all that and puts it into a software. So you have access to multi-track recording and mixing.
Oh, so it's like Logic
on your computer.
It's like Logic or Pro Tools or GarageBand.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Pro Tools is a DAW. Logic.
Who knew? Yeah. So guys usually have the terminology. I don't bother with that. I'm
no expert, but COVID made me say, I'm going to invest some. It's not a lot of money actually, but it's a lot of time to learn how to use it.
Oh, and so you have it in your home.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Writing songs and trying to make good music at home.
Oh, you're demoing.
I'm trying.
Let's just go off script here for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe Bill can play us a little song while I sip some tea, because it does seem like a good segue.
I don't know any songs.
Play something you don't know.
Sips over.
Yay! I'll be on bells. That was wonderful. I hope you're going to play more. That was kind of skimpy.
I don't know. Maybe just a couple nervous licks here and there.
And so, okay, so it started with trumpet.
Yes.
What was the name of that song? That was a Beatles tune, by the way?
Blackbird.
Whoa.
Blackbird, Beatles.
Whoa.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night.
Oh, he's a singer too. Wait, Blackbird by the Beatles. That brings me to a different part of music, a different part of guitar, tablature. Can you talk about that?
Well,
I don't know what that is.
There is music, sheet music, if you will, and you have a 5 lines and little dots in between the lines, and they represent notes. And for guitar, there's an alternate way of writing the way things are played, and it's called tablature. And I guess you would have the 6 strings, and then you would have the numbers of the frets for the chords, so you know where to put your hands. Because if you just saw sheet music and you saw a C chord, let's say C, E, G, you wouldn't know whether to play it here or there, but tablature will point you in that direction. But I really don't. I'm good at reading music, but I can't really read tablature that well. I'd have to sit down and pull it apart and count on my fingers, like where the frets are. So
why do they even create that?
Well, I think, and I don't want to sound snobby about it, but I think tablature was created for people who
the blind
aren't comfortable reading music. It's easier to understand the concepts of tablature. I could explain tablature to someone in 2 minutes.
Oh, instead of giving somebody a map, it's like just giving them directions.
But to read music, you're dealing with all kinds of things: time signatures, bass clef, treble clef,
pain in the neck,
8th notes, 16th notes, whole notes, rests.
Wow.
So with tablature, it doesn't get into that much detail.
And what about like the picking and the flat picking and that kind of like, what are the different, do you mind telling?
I don't mind. That's actually,
okay. People at home, he doesn't mind. I'm going to ask Bill, could you please tell us about the different kinds, the different strokes, the different picking, the different ways to get sound out of, let's say, an acoustic guitar first?
Sure. Well, in addition to having a passion for music in general, one of my specific passions is guitar, and I'm a student of different types of picking. So you're asking the right question. Not that I'm a good picker, but I'm familiar with some of the terminology.
I got it right. Okay, yeah.
So the best way I could describe it is, this is a pick. It's a piece of plastic, plectrum.
Can you hold that up?
It's a big one.
A little closer. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, and thicknesses.
And, you don't need a pick. You could put the pick in your mouth and you could do just fingers.
Well, I've been afraid of change.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Bill.
And in addition to that, some people will put picks on their fingers. It'll be like a little twist around thing. And then you have in effect, you'll have like big artificial fingernails because you put these little picks on your fingertips. And then you do this, and it's louder. Because this is louder than like, that's softer than pick.
Now
Anyway.
the technique that you're using, because
Right.
picking can, what's the technique?
Okay, there are several different types of techniques. And I guess it's easiest for me to explain it as like, because you can't see the individual strings. So let's say that these are 2 strings, okay? And here's the pick. There's a downstroke, which is down,
Yes.
and an upstroke, which is up. And if you're doing down, up, it's called alternate picking.
Oh my God.
Alternate picking, also known as flat picking. So don't think of the word flat as we know it. Just think of flat picking being alternate picking.
Where did that develop? Bluegrass? Like, why would they do that? It seems so cumbersome.
It is something that dominates bluegrass. Some people say it's named after Flat and Scruggs because Flat was a flat picker, but I don't know that that's necessarily.
Isn't it easier just to go
myth.
like this instead of like that?
Here's the thing: up, down is alternate. Then there's something called efficiency picking, which would be if you're doing 2 strings. I don't know if you could see this. If you're doing 2 strings, you would go down, down. Okay, bump, bump, bump. So you would always go toward the string you're picking. That's not alternate picking. That's efficiency picking. Okay, because I'm doing 2 downstrokes in a row.
That just feels right to me picking.
Alternate picking would be up, down. So you would go, down, up. So you go down, up, down, up. Okay. Then you would have, that's outside picking, down, up. Then there's inside picking, which is up. Okay. So the Jimmy Cliff song "Trapped." Bruce Springsteen covered it.
No woman, no cry. Oh yeah,
well,
I'm trapped. Ooh, yeah.
But it begins like this. It begins.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a D string down, G string up.
Okay.
Down, up. Outside. It's alternate picking and it's outside picking. A good thing to practice is inside picking, which is a lot more difficult. It's very counterintuitive. You have to move a shorter, tighter distance, so you have to be a little more in control.
Actually, it would seem to me that it would be easier because you're jumping over a couple of strings with outside picking.
Try it. Try it when you get.
I rarely use a pick. I just use these.
I know that you're an excellent guitarist.
Oh yeah,
and I've heard it, and I've commented on your some of your amazing.
Maybe once in 10 years you've said I was a good picker, so I guess that's good for you.
So these concepts, there's also something known as sweep picking. If you have like down, 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 up. So it's a different sound, and it's really efficiency picking too. Remember we talked about efficiency being always going toward the string, and you can also go down, all up.
How does efficiency picking translate if you're a lefty and your guitar is now the mirror image of what yours or most people's is, like holding it a left-hand neck?
It would be no different because you're just inverting everything. So all these concepts would apply the same, just going in a different direction.
I didn't think right-handed guitar players really. I thought there was something off about them, like when the neck is in your right hand. Isn't that weird?
I wouldn't know. Well, actually, I broke my hand once and is actually in a fight. And I played at my friend's wedding with a cast.
You were in a fight?
This is a long time ago. So I couldn't finger the notes so I had to turn the guitar upside down and play it. And it was horrible.
It takes some kind of genius for that.
But back to picking.
No, but really, you are kind of a smart guy, right?
No.
He is. He's
back
being
to
modest.
Picking, you find that certain genres favor certain types of picking over others. For instance, bluegrass, as you correctly pointed out, is alternate picking. So you got it's up, down, up. I'm sorry, down, up, down, up, down, up, no matter what.
All you make me do is want to sing.
So it's up, down, down, up all the time. Jazz tends to be more efficiency picking. So you would, and it's, there was a time not too long ago where there's a great jazz guitarist out of Philadelphia. He's an icon in the community. His name is Jimmy Bruno. And is he
Italian?
You could say that. He's from South Philly. His name is Jimmy Bruno.
Hey, hoagie.
Friends with the recently late Pat Martino. But he is a big proponent of what's called efficiency picking. If you say efficiency picking to him, he won't acknowledge the terminology. He just says, I don't care what you call it. He's quite the character.
Oh.
But, and then for about 8 years, all I did was efficiency picking. I wouldn't do, if I had to go to another string, I wouldn't go up. I would go. And I could still play like that if I concentrate. But it seems
to be the opposite of efficiency. It's annoyance picking.
Well, let's say we have a 4-note passage. An efficiency picker would go all down. An alternate picker would go down, up, down, up. So,
and I would just pluck them all 4 at the same time.
Here would be efficiency.
Okay, I can hear that.
Here would be alternate.
Oh, already that sounds like Merle Haggard.
And it's different. It's a different effect.
Right.
I would say that the efficiency picking, you could make the guitar, they say, this isn't my observation, they say it will sound more like a saxophone or something. Where in bluegrass, it's more like, it's very straight. And you want it to be straight. You don't want it to be
clean. You
don't want it to be,
Wow. Who could have ever thought that the manner in which you execute the sound with a pick on the strings can make it like soulful or a little bit more, white bread, dry,
Well, listen to this. You
play some jazz.
A BB King-esque lick.
Here we go.
And you just use your pick, it'll sound like this. But if you use there's something called hybrid picking, and I'm backing into it. And that's picking with your fingers and the pick. So
right.
I use it in a couple cases. If I was doing a BB King sort of lick, I would go. Then I would take one of my fingers and really pluck at that string. So,
ladies and gentlemen, this is why Bill is my friend.
And that's just my ring finger pulling, literally pulling the string up and smacking it down. So it's
but what if you break a string?
I replace strings pretty often. before every gig, I'll put on a fresh set of strings that day or the day before. So I almost never break a string. The only exception would be if it's in the middle of summer, if it's 100% humidity and it's one of those thick, disgusting, wet days, the strings just deteriorate and corrode. Through your eyes.
Let me ask you. So it all started with trumpet, and we went off onto picking. And
well, I wasn't done with the picking.
Picking and pulling.
There's one more thing with the.
The episode is going to be picking and pulling with Bill.
What's called hybrid picking. You go, this lick. You go. That's with the pick. But if you do it with your finger. Using these two fingers.
Hey, that's ZZ Top. That's ZZ Top.
Yeah. Using my middle finger and the ring finger.
Yeah.
And the pick. So I'm going with the pick. And then I'm going. So picking is a big part of guitar playing.
Man,
in my
you
opinion.
are a virtuoso. You really are.
But you should work on all these things, because sometimes you should be doing it one way, and sometimes it sounds good if you do it another way.
I'm voicing.
not a virtuoso,
Yeah.
so stop it.
I mean, I'll leave the heavy picking for you. I'll leave everything to wait, so Stevie Ray Vaughan, what would you say? He is a palternate picker? A alternate picker? A savage beast?
He's one of, I think he's
I didn't know, but he is.
If I had to pick a favorite, he would probably be it, although I would hate to have to pick favorites because there's so many guitarists I love, but he's really an inspiration to me.
Well, let's throw it out there.
Since I was
Hendrix.
10.
Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, who else?
George Benson.
Oh, yes.
Love George Benson. Love Joe
smooth.
Pass.
He's slick.
Pat Martino. I listen to almost every week. I'm listening to his first album, Hombre, from 1966. He had and the same thing with George Benson. I think some of my favorite stuff that he did was.
Wait, this reminds me of something. I want to do some rapid fire questions here. Just guitar players, okay? Just to let you know, because this just reminded me to do it. I'm not reminding me. I'm thinking of it right now. I think it would be really fun. So let's do some rapid fire questions for Mr. Wild Bill about, guitar players. So I'll name a guitar player and you just give me like a couple of adjectives or whatever you want to say. For example, Pat Metheny.
Pat Metheny is an incredible jazz guitarist. He's a great thinker too. If you ever hear an interview with him, he always has something amazing to say. I had the opportunity to meet him once. We were recording at the power station in New York City. My friend was an engineer there. We were really young, so he would get us in for free as long as we came at 4 a.m. or 3:30 a.m. or something crazy.
Yeah, when the engineers are setting up for the next show.
Right. So one time we came and the studio wasn't ready because Pat Metheny was still wrapping up. So when he came out, we said hi, shook his hand, and he's a very nice guy, very friendly, and just an amazing, like the way he approaches and thinks music. It's another level.
When you met him, did he have a lot of hair?
Yeah, he still does.
I mean, his hair arrives like 20 minutes before he does.
He still does. He's crazy.
I met him. It's funny. I was going to say it's funny that you mentioned it, but I mentioned it. But the only Pat Metheny story I have is I did meet him on the street of New York City. It was like 57th Street, and he was a dick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, if you had been there, you would not
have a conversation. Really, I just said he was leaving. We were coming in. We were kind of aggravated because we were so tired. We actually ended up going to a bar in Midtown and then coming back, and it was so late. Just shook his hand, said hi.
No. I am sure that everything you say about him is correct. It's just, I just wanted to throw that in there. Speaking of going to a bar, remember when we went to that bar and that person photobombed? We had no idea who it was in the background, but there this was the person, photobombing.
That was on the street, right?
It was on the street.
Yeah, I was carrying the guitars. Yeah.
That was like I that never happened to me before. The nerve. Anyway, so moving along. Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson, a huge Willie Nelson fan. One of the greatest songwriters of our time. He was writing songs in Nashville before anyone ever heard of him. Wrote the Walking After Midnight and Crazy, Patsy Cline.
That was Willie Nelson.
As far as the guitar is concerned, I always admire a guitarist who, as soon as you hear one note, it's him. And Willie Nelson might not have a reputation as an amazing guitarist or like a speed demon or a guitar slinger, but as soon as you hear that, it's Willie.
So sweet.
And it's his voice. The name of his guitar is Trigger. It's a nylon string acoustic, and it's the same one he's been playing since the 60s. Is it an electric acoustic or just a straight up? Just acoustic nylon string, and it's all falling apart. There's holes all over it. They keep rebuilding, and it's just an amazing story.
He's
the
like
name
a
of the
farmer.
Guitar is Trigger.
Trigger.
Yes.
Wow. I could talk about Willie Nelson, but I do want to move on because I love hearing what you have to say about these.
And Willie Nelson's sister is his piano player, and she's been touring with him again since the 60s. And she washes and braids his hair every morning when he gets up.
That's the story behind the hair.
Yeah.
I bet that unlike Pat Metheny, he's not a dick.
I don't know. I've heard some different stories. It depends on who you ask.
That is a beautiful story that Willie Nelson.
I heard Waylon Jennings say that Willie Nelson can be difficult.
Okay, you brought it up. Talk about Waylon Jennings. Please give everybody the background and the story.
Well, Waylon Jennings is another character. I think he's from Texas originally, but came to Nashville in the early to mid 60s. And had a hard time fitting in with what Nashville wanted to do at the time. They wanted everything to be clean, packaged, everyone wearing powder blue matching leisure suits and string arrangements. And there were a handful of guys who wanted to do their outlaw thing. And Waylon and Willie and Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash were part of that rogue rebel group, the Outlaws. Wow. And also Waylon Jennings, when it comes to guitar, again, doesn't have a reputation as being like an amazing guitar slinger, but he used to put a little bit of phase shifter on his guitar. I wish I had an electric guitar and the effect. And that became that country sound. And you still hear that phase shifter. And, Eddie Van Halen kind of ran with that too. If you listen to Van Halen, he always has a little bit of phase on his guitar.
A little bit? Isn't he?
Yeah. Well, sometimes a lot. He has lots of different sounds.
What do you mean by phase? You mean buzz?
Phase shifter. It makes it's like, it goes like that.
Dreamy, floaty.
Are people laughing at home? It's a guitar effect pedal. But
I do hear somebody playing ping pong. I thought it was in your house.
No. I mean, people at home watching this are laughing at me making a phase shifter sound.
Oh, no, no. Quite the contrary. They are hanging on the edge of their seats, getting all these guitar lessons and listening to this trivia. So then that leads me to what's his name? Trucks and the whole Allman Brothers.
Wow.
It's a big jump. It's a jump.
Derek Trucks came along and he really, I don't want to say reinvented the slide, and that's kind of cliche. And he didn't reinvent anything, but what he did was he spoke with slide guitar in a way that had never been done before. There are lots of great slide players that play different styles and different things, but again, when you hear a Derek Trucks solo,
you know it.
You know that it's him.
In one note.
You know that it's him. There's something to be said for a guitarist like that.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. He makes it cry. He makes it sing. He makes it angry.
I mean, to me, he just doesn't play ever without it, and so that became his sound.
Yeah, and he doesn't play with any
That's
effects.
unusual.
He just goes straight into the amp. You know, I'm not really an accomplished slide player, but he just has this thing where
the action on his strings must promote ease of slide. Must promote.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing, guitar kiddies at home. You need high action, and by high action, I mean the strings are high up off the board.
If you want to bleed,
it has to be high. If it's low, you're going to get like fret noise. You're going to get like.
Right. High action kills, though, man. You get calluses and blood everywhere, which leads me to Pete Townsend, right?
Yes.
Blisters on his fingers, or who said he is? I got blisters on my fingers. Who said that?
That was John Lennon.
Oh, him. No wonder why I couldn't remember. Tell me.
But Pete Townsend, he's another guitarist. While he's really not known for his lead playing, when you hear him play a chord, you know it's him. In addition to being an amazing songwriter and
like,
visionary,
for example, on what song? Because I'm trying
just look at "Won't Get Fooled Again." Okay, you hear the keyboard, da, 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 and then the guitar comes in and goes.
So don't we know that it's him because of the instrument and the intro that came before him? The piano.
He has an amazing guitar sound for his chords. If you talk to many guitarists, that's what they're going for. From Mike Campbell of Tom Petty to too many guitarists to mention. They will say, I'm looking for, when it comes to rhythm, they want a guitar that's somewhere between Malcolm Young of AC/DC and Pete Townsend. Just getting that. It's almost, it's overdriven and dirty, but it's almost clean.
Wait, so isn't it just a matter of, this is very naive, but I'll say it anyway, of just plugging in and playing? I mean, what's in a chord? What's in a chord? Distortion? I mean, what's in a chord?
A lot. Because it's there's so many variables that go into your sound. The guitar you're playing, the amplifier, how the amplifier is set, because the same amplifier can have many different sounds, any pedals. Another thing that makes a big difference is the volume control, usually on electric guitar. If you have like a big overdriven power chord sound and you pull back the volume pot a little bit, it cleans it up a little bit and completely changes the sound. And in addition to that, it's in the fingers. It's the way it's played. Remember I was telling you about like the B.B. King, like pulling it instead of going with a pick. It makes a different sound. It's hard to do it with an acoustic and show you.
No. You're doing an excellent job of it. I'm getting it.
But it's also, it's the way you hit the chord. If you hit it too hard, it makes the notes go sharp, almost out of tune.
I thought that has to do with where your fingers are on the fret.
Well, if you just hit a string,
Oh, I heard it.
I'm not adding finger at all. Watch. But if you hit it, it's more even.
Oh, okay.
It also sustains longer if you don't hit it as hard. Believe it or not, when you hit a string really hard, it has to recover, and then it dies off quicker.
I imagine.
This is like studio stuff.
Like velocity and stuff.
To really last, you would want to go. Anyway,
whoa,
silly guitar stuff.
So what about David Gilmour?
Gilmour is another one of those guitarists. When you hear him play a note, it's David Gilmour.
So then who do we?
I didn't even know this, but I can prove it. David, there's a Paul McCartney song called No More Lonely Nights. I think he did it in the 80s. No more lonely nights, forever. And at the end, there's a guitar solo. And the first time I heard it, I said, that's David Gilmour. And it turned out that it was.
Wow.
Just one note.
Man, I could sit here forever and just pick your brain about guitar players and all known and unknown. And I think it's very interesting that we're able to talk about guitar players that you can just know who they are in one note. Because, like, obviously, if we don't know who they are, then
yeah.
Wait, let me ask you before because I think you have to come back another time because there's so much more I have to say. I mean, we left off on trumpet and we've gone on this tangent, which I love, but I want to ask you about Todd Rundgren.
Todd Rundgren, amazing songwriter.
Yeah.
And you can ask him, he'll tell you himself.
Right.
He's, I think he said that he could write a #1 hit anytime he wants. I think that's a Todd Rundgren quote.
And he's got really good hair.
He used to.
You say that about everybody. You're in competition.
He married Steven Tyler's girlfriend and ended up being the father of Steven Tyler's biological daughter, Liv Tyler.
You're right. That's a whole other show.
Another Todd Rundgren fact that some people forget.
Right.
He produced the Meatloaf album Bat Out of Hell.
Oh yeah.
And played all the guitar on Bat Out of Hell.
Well, you know what then? Then he can say whatever he wants. Yeah. Bat Out of Hell. He did. Yeah. He did.
And in the song Bat Out of Hell, at the end, the song tells a story, and the motorcycle crash is like rising up from hell or whatever. And he plays, it's credited on the album. It says motorcycle guitar because he goes like a.
Oh yeah. And he also does hand claps too. Bill, what's we're gonna wrap up. My producer is letting us know that there's other people banging on the door to get in, and I don't want to because you're my favorite. What's on the horizon?
Not to let them in.
Right. Don't open the door. What's on the horizon for you the next couple of weeks? I mean, okay, that's not fair because it's holiday time, but after that,
well,
where can we see you?
I already hinted at my New Year's resolution is to not play as often as I have been playing. Shari, I've literally been playing 4 to 5 nights a week.
Oh, stop bragging. Ugh.
It's every Wednesday at the Notch, and then it's all these other bands, and sometimes doubles in the weekends.
Haven't you ever noticed people with really nice, beautiful hair brag a lot? Go on.
It's not. I'm not bragging. It's not cool. I don't want to do it anymore. My studio that was taking off when I had the downtime in COVID we had painters come because we had we had to paint, and it was covered. The studio was covered with a sheet. 6 weeks ago, it's still under the sheet. Okay. So what are you saying? And that's what I want to change for 22. I want to play out.
You want me to record on some songs. Is that what you're saying? Okay. All right, I twist my arm. Okay.
I want to achieve world dominance through recording your songs and mine.
Man, let's do it.
Yes. Fist bump. Boom.
Something I'm not good at. Okay. Sincerely, thank you for taking time out of your busy, wild days and nights to be here with us. And I am going to beat your door down to do more music with you. And I will remind everybody that we have played music together, this gentleman and myself, in New York City and in New Jersey.
Let's go back to the bitter end and let's do. I miss playing your songs.
And I miss hearing you play. And I love going to your shows. And I will go, hopefully, to another show. But it sounds like you don't really want to do that. So maybe I'll go in your stage. And I'll pretend that I am you, except for I won't be able to get away with the guitar playing. But
there you go. There you go.
I wish I had your curls. Anyway,
I look forward to playing Superman with you again on stage.
Oh, wait. Speaking of Superman, so I guess that's a good way to end, because segueing into this show is my track of Superman, and you can find it anywhere where fine music is sold. You'll hear that, ladies and gentlemen, at the top of every soundproof intro. It's called Superman. It's an original, and Bill and I have played it together. Bill, God bless you and happy holidays.
It's been an honor. Happy holidays to you and yours. Thank you, Shari.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.